Hello everybody, this is Tracy Markley from Tracy's Personal Training and Pilates Yoga Studio again. I wanted to make a video to answer some questions that I have been asked personally and that I've seen through some of the social media places everyone asks questions to. So you're going to learn more about this muscle today. This is the multifidus muscle, but I'm going to step back for this. Okay, so some of the questions that I've been asked was, again, the foot drop, the leg turnout, not being able to stand up well from wheelchairs, and I've seen that going on in some of the groups we have on Facebook as well. And I've seen a few things being talked about, leg being longer than the other, one leg being longer than the other. So I'm going to get into some of that. Okay, so let's just go right into the muscles because knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you can help yourself. If you're a caregiver, the more you can understand what your loved one or whoever you're helping going through stroke recovery is going through. Plus it can help you too. What I'm teaching here today is how I also approach seniors or anybody having fall issues. It's fall prevention. It's learning to walk, it's learning to stand, it's proper structure. I have a video like this I made a couple years ago. This is going to be a little different. I have a better camera or a better video equipment than I did 2 years ago, and I have more anatomy that's better. So this is going to be an anatomy course and showing you some movement to help you understand and why to do things. Remember, I just said it, knowledge is power. It can help you find a better person to work with. It will help you understand therapy. It may help you get to a better therapist. It may help you find a fitness trainer or a Pilates instructor or somebody who has in-depth knowledge to help you. You have to understand movement, fascia, and where the muscles attach to help bodies come back together. So if you're hearing a beeping, just ignore it. I think somebody's backing up outside. You may not hear it, but I do. Okay. The multifidus muscle. See that muscle in the spine? Deep in the spine. Your brain sends a message to the muscles that are your balancing system, your stabilizing system, to stabilize the body first before the limbs move in movement, for safety and balance and coordination, proprioception, all that. Okay. Your brain sends a message to the multifidus. The multifidus is even though you have all these other muscles, it's known as the main stabilizer of the spine, okay? So your brain sends a message to the multifidus, stabilize, so this muscle starts stabilizing and the other ones follow through with it too. That's how it goes. Things work in steps. So the main stabilizer spine, it tells the brain, stabilize, which means stabilize, you're going to move. If you don't have the center of the body and the stabilizing system build, you're not going to get your balance and coordination back. Because yes, it's brain. The brain and where you're damaged and things play a role in it as well. That is true. But if you're trying to make the wrong muscles make you balance, you're not going to gain the natural way to really balance and function. So look at babies when they learn to walk. They're not standing on one leg, they're not doing Tai Chi, they're not doing yoga poses. They literally stand up and hold on to things until they can stabilize their body. That's how you do it. You have to train your body back to the natural way it knows to do. Because if you're standing, you're doing a lot of balance work just by standing on one leg using this quad muscle. That quad muscle doesn't stabilize you. This is your stabilizer. Yes, these need to get stronger too, but if the natural flow of function is brain, stabilize limbs, doing brain and trying to learn to stabilize by standing on one leg, you're skipping a part, you're skipping a step. And we can't skip steps and things. Okay, so let's go a little further with this. The multifidus muscle, your transverse muscle, That muscle right there, that muscle attaches at your sternum, your pubic bone, and wraps around your whole waist, girdle, just like women used to wear corsets, or they still do, or girdles. That is the deepest ab muscle. And then you have the obliques, and then you have the ones that run up and down, the rectus muscles, and that is the little six-pack muscles you see in people. So, your multifidus, your transverse muscle, and the pelvic floor muscles are all on the same neuromuscular loop. And in a lot of studies, it also includes the diaphragm. So we'll say all four muscles right now. They're all in the same neuromuscular loop. And this means if this muscle is weak, this muscle cannot be to the strength it needs to do to perform its full potential on the body. Okay? So that's why, I mean, yes, remember, everything I say here doesn't fall into everybody's situation, because you may have your brain injury, your stroke, or your ears, or something where you're over dizzy and it has nothing to do with muscular. This is people that the muscles are part of it. If you know what I mean by that. Okay. So, and when seniors, when they start tripping and falling, they need to get their core up. So your core is, you know, from here, your glutes, your hips, all the way up through here. And some even include the, you know, up a little higher, because the lat muscle is a big back muscle that comes down through here, attaches on your hip bone, and attaches here. So you have this big back muscle that attaches at that pelvic bone that helps pull the arm back down. It helps pull you up off things. So getting your core strong doesn't just mean this. You have all these other muscles too. But your core, the center of your body, has to be strong to stabilize your hips, to line up your shoulders. If your poor posture is here, you have no core, this won't move as well, this won't move as well. You need to get that core strong, straighten up that body nice and strong so this can move and these can move. It's like a tree. If the tree trunk is weak, it's an apple tree, and grows a bunch of apples, it's going to fall over, or the branches are going to break off. You have to start at the center. So, and to add this part in right now, when we talk about the legs being hiked up, you know, so it looks like your leg's shorter than the other. Like I said, literally some people have the bones, they're just born, or they have surgeries or something to where now one of these bones somewhere in their legs is shorter in one part, which will make that happen. But that's a rare case. Some people do have that. They've had a funny knee surgery or something just messed them up, or they're literally born that way. But in many cases, and with stroke survivors, if you have something pre-stroke that caused it, here is your quadratus laborum. That's in your low back deep. You have spasticity or poor posture where you're always like this. That means this muscle is short on one side. So when that muscle's short or tight, what does it do? It pulls that hip up, making this leg seem shorter. A lot of it is muscular and structure. You pull that up here and you press that, get that foot back down, and this strong enough, your foot's the same, you're the same length. None of us are perfect ever in our length, but basically that's a big part of it. So you also have the psoas muscle. Your psoas muscle attaches, you have 5 lumbar vertebrae, which is your lumbar, low back. It attaches at the four of those lumbar vertebrae. It crosses through, so it starts here, crosses through here, and attaches at this femur. So if you look at this right here, comes down the spine, across that pelvic and hip bone, or pelvic bone, however you want to word it right there, to the femur bone. That's your femur bone, the front of your leg. It's the only muscle in the back that literally attaches to the leg. Everything else attaches to here. And like the big lat muscle that does this, it's the only muscle that attaches right to here. Everything else attaches all through here more. Okay, just so you know. Okay, I mean the only center back muscle. Don't let that confuse you, I said that. Okay, this muscle right here, your psoas, helps with this, this, watch my foot, this, this, okay? If your core is weak and you're in poor posture, or if you're, watch my other videos on sitting in wheelchairs. If you're sitting in your wheelchair like this, if you're someone who sits in the wheelchair, or you sit and watch TV this way, you're like this, that means all these muscles I just showed you are crooked. That means your pelvic's crooked, everything is crooked, and that will mean muscles like all these surface muscles like these, the ones that aren't so deep, are going to be uneven on both sides. And another good picture for you, but I don't see it right now. So whatever you're doing in your core will shift knees, ankles, hips, twist you in a curve, will make your obliques and everything twisted. So what is important for everybody in recovery and not recovery is to keep our core strong, to keep your posture up so everything can move. Okay, when we go back to, let me show you this. Your brain and spinal cord is the central nervous system. Here's a picture. I actually got this one off the internet. I didn't have a copy of my own. See the brain? See that, you know, how it goes down in here? Your brain and spinal cord sends messages to each other. Your brain sends a message to the spinal cord to do things. If your brain and the message to your spinal cord is compromised, it's going to be harder to get your movements back. And it is a scientific fact. If you're in poor posture, it can compromise the communication between the brain and spinal cord. So that's another reason to get in good posture and get your core and that structure strong from the spine. Rebuild from the inside out, like babies develop, like we did as children to develop. What I recommend for every stroke survivor, if you don't have balance and you're trying to work on things, see this right here? Put a bar on your wall. This one's just here to show you guys. Have a bar, say like this is on a wall, bars on a wall. You're sitting in your wheelchair, you want to learn to stand up, pull yourself up to the bar and work on here, balancing, stand. Work on your abs being strong so you can build the structure back for standing. Look at babies when they learn to stand. What do? They keep holding on to something and pulling themselves up till they can stay there. And then they learn to, they keep falling down because they have to learn to lift their foot and put it. They need to learn their spatial awareness. So I've been talking about that. That's what I want to talk about today too. Spatial awareness is knowing where your limbs are in space. Say like I am walking and I need to step over this purple thing on the floor. If my spatial awareness is good, my brain automatically calculates there's something on the floor I have to step over. I have to start picking it up here, lift this high to get over this far to land the foot for safety. When people lose their spatial awareness, you don't really have control of what your foot's doing, and you don't have awareness of how you're lifting or what's really going on, and you start to trip. A lot of seniors get that. You start building that core back up, you can control what your feet are doing. Begin in the center. It is very, very important. So you have spatial awareness and proprioception. Spatial awareness is knowing where your limbs are in space. Proprioception, they get mixed up a lot too. They're kind of the same, but kind of different. Knowing where things are in space, knowing where the objects are around you. Like say like I am going to, if you saw my last video I shared, it was a gentleman who was a stroke survivor who we did a reenactment where he used to walk to the chairs real slow, hold the chair, turn, sit, and then push himself back. But when he got his spatial awareness back and how we are before we lose it is we just walk to a chair, we sit down. We're not thinking about, so if you watch my feet when you're approaching something, it automatically takes smaller steps when you get close to something. Subconsciously, we just do that. When you lose it, you have to rebuild it back. And there's ways to do that. I share a lot of it in videos. I share a lot of it in my books. You need to have a pole for safety. You have to be safe when you do your stuff. Don't hold on to countertops. You have nothing to grip. Get a pole. You can get a short one. You can get a long one. You can buy them on Amazon. This part here, this is actually part of a rod you put in a closet to hang clothes on. You can put these on the wall if they're hooked right, because they can hold you. You can, if you can't leave the house right now, or COVID or whatever, you can order something off Amazon, have someone put it in your wall. You will have better recovery and feel safer doing your exercises if you have a pole to hold on to. Yes, some of you only have one arm to use, but you have to learn to get that back. So what I have people do, I have a pad right here. So I use Bosu balls, pads, and discs. Safety first. I have people, when you're ready to stand, then you can start practicing stepping up on something and stepping back down. And your practicing would be practicing to clear the item, and you focus every second of the way. I'm lifting my foot, I'm moving my foot, I'm placing my foot. You have to retrain the brain to connect to every ounce of the movement you are doing because it lost it. Just like the babies have to, how many times do they fall down before they actually realize, oh, I got to move my feet like this to walk? At first, they kind of just go whoop and they fall down. They have to learn the skill, and it took practice, practice, practice. And they don't learn to walk. We didn't learn to walk when we were babies and kids, going to therapy twice a week and doing nothing at home. Every single day we were working on pulling yourself up, and it got trained. In most, not going to say most, in many, many, many cases, this stuff can be trained back. Yes, it depends on your brain and everything too. So I wanted to share that with you guys. There's a lot more to this. You have so many muscles, so many muscles. You got the butt muscle that's on your hips. Remember, if your hips are crooked, now your bun muscles are going to be crooked. Remember, your buns do this. When you walk, they help. So if you're crooked, it's going to be harder to take your steps. Everything is based on getting the center structure in. So this movement can be done. These movements can be done. You need these movements done evenly. And there is another, I don't have a picture of it right now. It's in my other videos. It's in my books too. You have your leg muscles. You take off those 4 quad muscles. You have this pack of muscles right here. They help hold that leg in. So you need your core in, and you need to strengthen the middle of the inner thighs that pull you in. These muscles right here, abduct. They're abduct, E-D-D-A-D, abduct. They're adding this leg back to the midline of the body, adding it back in. So these adductors have to be in. You can do that from sitting and squeezing a ball between your knees, working on always pushing that foot in. So remember, your body will want to move in the position you hold it in most. So if you don't want your leg to be out here, turned out, and your hips here, when you watch TV, try to make sure you're sitting with this try to put your body, if it doesn't hurt you, don't shove it through joint pain. Do not cause yourself joint pain. Try to put yourself in the position you wanted to be in when you rise up to walk. Because you can't sit like this, then expect to get up to here and walk. Because if you're in here for hours and hours a day, you're training all these muscles I just showed you. The quadraciborum, your psoas, you're training those muscles to be short and tight and in a twist. That's where they are longer. That's where they're going to want to be when you get up. Does that make sense? So remember, this only applies to you if your body can work through this. A lot, many people, most people can, but not everybody, because it just depends on your case. But what about, because people, people get spasticity in their arm. Maybe you have a little spasticity in the psoas muscle, and it's keeping you in here, or in here, and you got to work through that. But what's going to help is your brain, if this can't send a message to the center of the body to stabilize, your body is now trying to stabilize with the wrong muscles. So if you're trying to stabilize just from using your quad muscle and you're skipping this, the muscles you need to walk will not be trained right. Because all muscles, 70% of the muscles in the body participate when you're walking. So you can't skip the structure for anything. You're trying to move your arms, your legs, or your hips. this structure needs to get strong. And here's a picture right here. This is just some of your muscles. This is the back view. You got somewhere in there, the multifidus is way under there. But see the muscles, they go all the way up to your neck. All those muscles. And that doesn't even include your big butt muscle. So then you got the calves and the lower legs. So every muscle I just showed you in that spine, if you're in a twist, they're twisted all the way up to your neck, which will probably leave your shoulder kind of in a funk too. So, tips, always keep your shoulders out of your ears. A lot of people keep them here, which will make all the fascia and the connection throughout all these muscles through the lower part of your body off. You're having some hip issues, make sure you don't have either shoulder in your ear, because the shoulder here with the fascia will twist to here. You take this shoulder and lift it, it lifts the structure in here. So good posture is what you need to work on, okay? So take this education, try to apply it much as you can. Like I said, you guys know I'm Tracy Markley. I have my books out. All my books have anatomy in them. They all have exercises in them to showing you what you can do for certain things. Take the education and help you when you go to your therapist. If you're working with a fitness professional, get this knowledge. And if they don't seem to know it, show them, tell them, hand them one of my books. Ask them, can you watch this girl's video? Because we have to seek out greater knowledge to get it. Just like if you go to a doctor, you have the general doctor, but if you want a knee replacement or hip replacement, you go to someone who studied advancements and wanted to be a surgeon and now and deeper into the hip issues and tissue and fascia and bones and nerves and everything going on. You don't just, not every piece of general thing, you have to reach out to people who have specialized in it to help you. A lot of people say they have, tell them to show you. So can I see your certificate now if you did that? Because a lot of them are good talkers. They talk like they know stuff, but when they go to work with you, they keep you so basic, they limit you. Limited knowledge in the physical anatomy and muscles and movement will limit our clients. So the more you have, the more you won't limit yourself when you're with someone or on your own. Because remember, we all have our own bodies and we all have to know our bodies to help ourselves no matter what we have going on in it. So I hope this helped you guys. I know sometimes it sounds like I'm rambling. There's so much to teach. When I took my anatomy, not just anatomy and physiology, but just a class on anatomy, the muscles, where they attach, what they do, which way they perform. We saw cadavers at muscle form. I took it twice. And I still didn't remember anything. I've been doing this for 25 years and I've written books and I actually now have people make me anatomy that I want. So now I have my anatomy, but you can't learn it in one day. It's too much. So it's good stuff, but it's a lot there. And you don't have to remember all the muscle names. Just remember the common sense of putting your body back together that came out of this. This will help you guys. So drink your water, feed your brain good nourishment. Remember, your brain's working hard to rebuild pathways, to connect to nerves, and connect to movement. If you're feeding it junk and you're keeping it dehydrated, it's just going to make it harder. It's like if you drive that car down the road, you don't change the oil and you don't put water in the engine, it's going to suck. So everything you can to keep this organ, remember this is the most complex organ in your body. Everything you can do to make this brain, your organ that functions the brain like it's the engine to your body, nourished, good vitamins, minerals, good nutrition, fruits, vegetables, whatever works with your body, whatever works with whatever other things going on in your body and your medication, and stay hydrated. It will help the brain stay stronger to get back your body. Okay, so you guys have a great day. I hope this helps you. I'm www.tracymarkley.com. Somewhere, my links, all the links are throughout YouTube, and I'm easy to find on the internet. So don't give up, you guys. It takes a lot of effort and focus every step of the way. Have a great day.